Yeah, first of all, my name's Bradley Hardy. I live on the other side of the river. So it's just about 400 metres from our ancient fish traps. And so all my tribal people have been there for probably close to a few thousand years at least. Yeah, so that's all on that side of the river. So the changes have I seen in my time? Well, water was always water when I was growing up, and I'll be 40 in another couple of months. So we always had good flow coming through. Now, this is one of the lowest I ever seen it. What I like to see is how it was, like at least in the 80s and 90s, and early mid 2010, 11 and 12 when you had all that rain. Good for all that rain. So when I was growing up, the water was always continuous. We had continuous flow, healthy, always catching fish. Now, in our river system before, we used to have ropeweed. Now, the ropeweed would go across the top of the river, and underneath it, we had shrimps, we had crayfish, we had turtles, we had mussels. That was like a separate community. Now, if it weren't bad enough when they put the weir in to hold more water back so they can use it for those reasons. So a lot of the old people used to tell us that was the vision in the old days of holding, when they first put the weir in, to hold more water back to grow cotton. So since introduction of the cotton into our river system, as you know, all these places have got no water. So, and the drought is not helping too, so we need rain too. So, but with our river system before, we had continuous flow, we had the ropeweed. European carp ate all our ropeweed out now, so that destroyed the homes of the shrimps, crayfish, turtles, mussels. Now, with the ropeweed, when it would run through before, the ropeweed was like a filter system for our river. So we know what it's like when we take filters out of something, how it can ruin things. It doesn't last long. But the problem we're having at the moment is just too much water's been taken out of our river. So I'd love to see it flow again, whether it will or not, whether we will get more rain, whether they will release water, is not totally up to me, but I'd love to see it flowing, because I live right on the river. Right on the river, I mean right on the river. Yeah, straight up from it. Yeah, so, and that's where all my tribal people are from, the same spot. So we have that connection with our river, that's us. So I often explain on my tours, the river is our blood. We lose our blood, what happens to us? We die. We lose our river, the river's like our blood, that's like us dying. So if we lose our blood, we lose our river, we lose our identification as river people, we lose our identity. So with our fish traps at the back of this building straight down here, 8 different tribes that spoke 8 different languages built our fish traps. Of course, it was a meeting place, it was a gathering place, it was a sharing place. It still is a sharing place for tribes. We're all from different tribes here that's in this building. We're all different people, but look where we met at. So that's so powerful about this place. So that's, like, I'm not here to argue with anyone, but I want to stick up for our blood, our river. Because the river is our life. With no water, no life. Simple. Now, if all this water was to be taken out of the Sydney areas, because we know Cubby Station, that holds 16 times the amount of water as Sydney Harbour. So imagine taking 16 times the amount of water out of Sydney. But see, we're peaceful people. We're just sharing that true fact of, if we've got no river, all these river communities will go under.
Do you ever remember communities before having to drink bottled water?
The water was in a lot of. So if you were to come here, I remember mid 2000s, we went for a dry period and we had all this beautiful clear water. You could drink it. Now last year, the water was clear. I've got photos of it. Even in this photo up here, amongst us, where we're sitting here, that's pretty clear water. But I don't know about, I know when we used to be in a boat before, you could put your cup out the side and you can drink that water, it's clear. But with the chemicals that's around today, you wouldn't be able to do it these days.
So
We only got to look at the stuff that's happening downstream with the upstream too, with what's happening.
Yeah. So you feel that people now not only can't drink the water, they kind of don't trust it even if it's there?
That's it. Like we don't know what they put in the river, and so we're not sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of, someone told me, I don't know how true it is, they said with a lot of the environmental flows, a lot of it releases bad water back into our river systems. So we're not sure of that. So we hear different. We hear some people tell us that's only dirt. Like the environmental flow that we got in July last year, the quality of that water was absolutely disgraceful. And they said that was a environmental flow, dirty water.
Where was the dirty water coming from?
Don't know. I don't know where it was coming from, but it was coming into our river system. The colour of it, and usually I'll just share that with you. Now, when we usually get a rise in the river, fish move to spawn, swim upstream. Now, and you catch fish everywhere when we first get a rise in the river. But last year when we got that flow in July, the water looked terrible. No one was near the river fishing, all that stuff. So it's a big concern. And so me being a tour guide is like, we tell young people about this place here was a meeting, gathering, trading place, a sharing place where our people caught fish, they shared fish. If we don't get any water soon, how good's those stories going to be? What we're coming to this dry area in the river here? It's a dry riverbank. It's just a dry, stony area. But we're lucky we've seen where you can catch fish with your hands and all that stuff. But I fear for the young people they won't get the chance to see it if this keeps happening to our river system.
So you said you're nearly 40, which means
I'm old.
I'm older than you.
Oh, yeah.
And that you were growing up in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so when you were a kid, what was the river like then?
Well, in the summertime, and we lived on it. Like that was us. So whether we be at the sandy bank or whether we be up the top of the fish traps, whether we be downstream, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I'm lucky. I really reckon I had a good childhood. And that river played a huge part in it. Yeah, beautiful.
When was the last time you reckoned that the river was healthy?
Well, we had a healthy flow through March last year, and I got the photos that prove it. The river looked beautiful, even though we never had any rain in our area. But the water looked beautiful. It was clear.
Did the water stay there long?
Didn't stay there long. It might have stayed up for a couple of months. Then in July, it was pretty dry, and we got the environmental flow in July. Yeah.
You mentioned before that when that water first came through, though, it went down pretty quick because people started pumping it as soon as it came in.
Yeah, I noticed that, I don't know if they started pumping it or just the water would have dropped, but usually we can tell if they're pumping it because it drops too quick, and that's what happened with that beautiful clear water. It was dropping the water was dropping too quick.
With some of the older people in your community,
Yeah.
what do they think of the water at the moment? Are they worried about it?
Well, one of my second eldest aunties that are alive, because one of my aunties is 94 or 95, she's in hospital with dementia. Now, one of my aunties that's 89, you had her son in here earlier, that was the first interview you'd done.
Okay.
He took his mother, she's 89, he took her to the river and she really cried. She probably did cry, and to see the state of it. So a lot of our people that are fairly old, they see this river and saying, wow, look at the state of it.
And is that because what we're hearing is it may be a drought out there, but the water, even in other droughts, there's still been a bit more water in the rivers. So it's not just the drought, it's the overall condition.
Yes.
Is that what you're finding here?
So it's not just a drought, but it's what's they're taken out of the river. Yeah.
So what do you think you and others in the community point to the cause of the continual decline of the river?
So, yeah, well, it's, like this, I don't want to mention names like I did earlier, but those people we know they're taking water out of our river. Yeah.
So you mean industry using it further up?
Yeah, so again, like why all these rivers here are not running, like the ones that run in from southwest Queensland into the Darling, why they haven't got any river? Well, look at those stations that are on top. Here, look at the water upstream from here, past Walwood, past all those other places. They've got a lot of water that they can release. We're not saying to them release all of it into our river systems, but it's got to be where it's got to be community sharing, where that's that's our lifestyle. We need that river. Just release some of it. So where all these places like Walwood, Burke, us down further on, where the water can go down. Release some of it.
Gil, do you have any other questions? No. About the only thing would be is if there's anything else you can think of in terms of what the difference today for plants or animals. You described really well what was going on in the waterways. What about the animals that live out of the water?
Well, this is a lot of along our rivers where they're dry, they can't have access to it because it's dry, and so people say, "Oh, there's a lot of kangaroos that are hanging around in our yards." Well, that's because where they used to live in. And we've got to remember this. These animals were here long before a lot of things that we have now. So one of my mates, he says, animals do not break the law. Our native animals don't break the law here. This is their natural land. They don't break the law, but we ruin a lot of their homes. So a lot of these big places, they ruin a lot of their homes. When we make roads, that ruins homes. So that's why naturally they're going to come up on people's lawns, on people's near people's driveways and eating, because there's nothing out that way. All their land is. So the plant life I worry about, and the animal life I worry about, because we don't be talking about I seen that animal when I was growing up, but now it's extinct. We don't be saying that to young people. We want there's a lot of those kangaroos over here. There's a lot of those wallabies here. There's a lot of those echidnas here. We want people to be talking like that. And it's good to see things in their natural habitat. So we don't want people just only go to the zoo to see our native animals. We thought that's only meant for like a lot of the foreign stuff that they bring over. We want them to see them actually, there's a kangaroo jumping over near that tree. There's a snake that crawls. I don't like snakes much, but they belong to the land. They're part of it. So, and fish, of course. I'll share this with you. Now, our old people, when they built the fish traps, they worked away to catch fish. That's in the U shapes, in the circle type traps. That's where they'd store fish. But our people left that big space in the river where the fish could swim up to spawn, to breed. So that's sustainability at its highest level. 30% of the fish would get caught and stored, the other 70% would swim upstream to spawn. Sustainability at its best, because our people were masters at looking after the land. So, and that's how we're going to be. We're going to be like that. We're going to look after the land, look after the animals, look after our water. We're going to try to do that, and just so with a lot of people that are in the cities, they might know what's really going on out here. So it's good to share this stuff with them. And we're not here to have a go at politicians or cotton growers, but we're just trying to keep our lifestyle going. But not only our people, we've got a lot of farmers that rely on the river too. So it's a community thing. And so the old type of our place here, old thing that we try to tell about our place here was a community where people gather together to share. And with the land, with the food, all that stuff, and that's what we're going to try to keep that stuff going. But if we've got no river, again, that's our blood gone from us. That's the death of us. We lose our identity as river people. So that's thank you for coming in and.
Thank you for hosting us.
And so it's our duty to do this, is to welcome people, share with people about our history here, not only just the river, with our foods and all that stuff.
We appreciate it. Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
We've heard from a lot of folks along the river and folks here today too that given the feeling is that too much water is taken out from further up and that it's affecting the health down here. My question is, do you feel that local people have enough of a say about how water is managed along the river?
Have enough say?
Yeah.
No, we don't have enough say, because we know if we're going to look into the political side of that, where we've got no say in that. whether it be Liberal, whether it be Labor, whether it be any of those parties, you know, like we haven't got much say into the river systems. We can talk about the river, share about the river, but there could be people that are having a say about the river that we don't know of. Yeah, but that's where it's got to be. But it's got to be full communities.
What would you like to see happen in terms of local decision making about the water?
So it's community. That I can't say that, but it's the community has got to, like the full river communities. It can't be just all the bottom people down here, like from Wilkenya, Bree, Burke, but it's got to come from all up, all the river people that this stuff is affecting. That's where everyone's got to talk. Yeah, so I can't just be one voice. Say, yeah, we've got to ask the politicians. But in saying that, it'd be good to have a talk with Scott Morrison or whoever's in charge. Scott Morrison's the Prime Minister at the moment. It'd be good to have a peaceful talk with him about our river. So I met Scott a couple of times, and it's, you know, it'd be good to have a talk with him about our river, but do it in a proper manner.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a fellow. I like to keep. I like to be a peacemaker, but with issues we've got to just ask them and say, just ask the question. We're out here and we've got no water. How can we have some?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No more questions, Gil? No. Thank you so much for your time and for having us here today.
That's good.
Thank you.